Okay, we're getting ready for a beautiful day today. It's Nora's last soccer game of the season for being 9 years old, right? You 9, next year's you 10. And we're taking the little Subaru 360. And who do we got in the back there?
Stella.
You see a dog in there? I do. Okay, it's going to be a gorgeous day. Let's go take the little Subaru for a drive and see what we can make, see how many goals we can score. One thing that's important to do on a cool fall morning that your Subaru 360 sat outside all night is to wipe the windows. They have very minimal defrost and every little bit helps. So even just getting the water off the windows will make your drive that much more enjoyable. As you can see, some of the water has made its way inside. I rinsed it to get some of the dirt off, dust, but we want to be safe. Buckle up, we want to be safe. Another cold weather driving tip when you're driving your Subaru 360 in the middle of winter is to crack your vent window like this and let the air blow across the inside of the window. No matter how cold it is, it will take the humidity off of the inside of the glass because the defroster really doesn't work. We have 3 creatures in the car. This one's cold, breathing hot air and steaming up the windows. Just one of the little intricacies of having an older car that has a very minimal defroster system. So we got Nora here trying to get every little bit of heat that's coming out of the vent beneath the seat there. It is from the fan, which is a heat exchanger system. And you can see the little tiny defroster right here is just blowing a little tiny bit. It's actually kind of fogging up my side, but you have to turn your head over a little bit and I can see where I'm going. Another thing you got to be careful is when you rinse your car of dust in the morning, be careful not to spray in your brake drums because effectively it wets down your brakes and you have no brakes for about the first 10 blocks. All right, we made it to our destination, soccer field of choice, and cold weather driving Subaru 360 tip number 7 is when you park your car on a cold winter's morning, try to park in the sun so that the heat of the sun, its radiant nuclear energy, will dry the wet towels you use to wipe the car down and try to defrost the windows while you're enjoying your sporting event. You gotta love it. Anyhow, I love this little car, but there are some considerations you have to take into mind when you drive one of these things seriously. So here comes the sun. It's going to dry us out and our trip home should be a lot less eventful and more safe. So dry out, little Subi. We'll see you soon. All right, so it's a little bit later. The Subaru 360 has warmed up enough inside that the windows have defrosted. The sun has gone away, unfortunately. And we got rid of my daughter after her soccer game. It's just me and Stella out for a drive, enjoying our little Subaru 360. See if we can take in some of the late fall sights while it's still dry. It really is a beautiful day for a drive. There's so much to see. Let's go enjoy it. Take it all in. One thing about a Subaru 360 in the city is you can actually put the track of the tires onto the rails of the streetcar. It gives you quite a ride because the rails do the driving. The width is exactly the same. Try that sometime in your 360 when you're driving around town. Did I mention the fall colors? It's pretty sweet. Beautiful, beautiful foliage. We've had a great fall. Even Stella thinks it's great. Just let her orange ears flap in the breeze. One thing I have noticed is if you drive long enough with the heater on, it does get warm. It's starting to finally feel warm here in the cabin. It's only been a half hour or 45 minutes. But you would pull the lever here the heat lever all the way back, which allows heat to go past the exhaust as a heat exchanger, and then you have a booster fan right here to amplify and give the air a little more airflow. So there's a heat manifold underneath the seat, and there's a little tiny vent here at the dash for blowing on the windshield, which doesn't do much, but after a while it seems like it works all right. Of course, it's not raining or snowing. It's about 40 out. Let's keep driving. Portland is a really pretty city. You gotta love it. There's a lot to do here. They don't call this a city of bridges for nothing. There's a lot of them around. Look at that. Isn't that pretty out there? Super fun. All right, we're gonna start heading home. We put about 25 miles on our little Subaru 360 today, enjoying the fall colors and doing some winter tips. And when I got back home to the garage, I'll go over what not to do if you're driving your Subaru 360 in the wintertime. All right, so I actually had to turn the heat off. It's getting a little too warm. It's been a while driving. One thing you must remember is that it is a heat exchanger exhaust system. If you have any leaks in your exhaust system, you will be pumping two-stroke exhaust into the cabin, and you could asphyxiate the driver. You don't want that. Same thing if you're idling a lot at a stoplight. Just the two-stroke exhaust around the car sometimes gets pulled into the cooling fan of the engine and can create a little exhaust smell. So the heater works best when you're moving. I would say the faster you're moving, the better it works. That's kind of the way it works. All right, so we're home after our cold morning journey. It's cold and wet this morning. There's a few items that I think I can give you as a tip to help you with your cold morning commute on your Subaru 360. One is if you can park it in a garage and keep the car dry, it'll have that much easier of a time recovering, being that the windshield wipers and the defroster systems are a bit inadequate. Also, if you have like a wet towel, for wiping off the dog or wiping off your boots, or if your boots are wet or if your clothing is wet, creates humidity in the car, that also can contribute to safety and lack of defrosting capabilities for the Subaru 360. Other than that, once I drove it for a while, the heater finally warmed up and it got the seat nice and warm and made it bearable. But it does take a while. It is a small engine that produces not so much heat, and it is an exhaust heat exchanger system, which, like I said, if you have any exhaust leaks, can create a hazard. So hopefully you learned something. I love these little cars and love driving them in all types of weather, but do be safe. All right, thanks for watching. Thanks for enjoying my channel, and I hope you have a nice fall.